Today, the Battleship Texas is moving over 50 miles through the Houston Ship Channel, all the way from the San Jacinto Monument, where it currently is, down to Pelican Island, where it will sit for a year or so for renovations. This project started a couple years ago with the Battleship Texas Foundation. We're creating a documentary about the entire restoration of the ship. We found out the date for the moving of the ship about a month ahead of time. First thing we did for this project was rent gear. We knew we were going to need a ton of cameras for this to mount on the ship, mount on the dry dock, and to take with our crews in route following the ship down the ship channel.
When we started talking to Battleship Texas about putting all the cameras on the ship, we expressed some concerns, and that was that there was going to be lots of limitations of how long we can roll these cameras for. Are they going to overheat? Are they going to get rained on? After setting up all of the cameras, we either had to stay on the ship or we had to wake up really early in the morning to get to the ship. So I decided that I would just stay and sleep on the ship.
Our crew's call time was 4 a.m. Greg and his team with Lifted Media showed up with 4 drones and 3 operators. They started flying immediately. The drones could barely capture footage of the ship. Our cameras were struggling to capture footage of the ship, but eventually the sun started to come up. Luckily before the ship started moving, so we could grab some really great shots.
I got to take a moment. All the cameras were rolling. Everybody was kind of settled down. The vessel was on its way, making good time, and so I got to sit back and enjoy the sunrise on the ship, right on the bow at one of the highest points. It was a really cool experience.
Once the ship got out into the channel, though, that's when things really picked up. They started moving that ship so fast.
Managing all those cameras on the ship while it was in transport was a lot of work. You had to go up several levels, up a ladder. It was a lot to manage for one person. Now rolling. Cool. Careful what you say.
As half our crew made their way down to Galveston, we definitely had to make some changes, make some calls. We thought we were going to get a little bit of a break in between the morning and the afternoon, but our crew had to be ready as soon as the ship got down there. I remember being at the dry dock, seeing the dry dock drop down in the water, waiting for the ship to show up, and just beyond the tree line, I could see the top of the battleship starting to approach. I remember radioing Greg over at Lifted Media, and he was across the ship channel at that moment, and I was like, Greg, get your drones up in the air.
I was super excited to just touch land. I think it was about 36 hours of me being on the vessel.
That was a long journey. Woo!
We've got the experience of capturing the ship move once. We can do it again.
This was a really huge moment for Captive Creative. We've got to operate a huge team of people with great success. It's one for the memory bank for Captive.